Hello everybody, and today we are doing What If Deku was Kaneki, Part 1. This will be the 800 subscriber special. This is not in Tokyo Ghoul, it is in My Hero. And he does end up getting the white hair. I'm not going into detail with the torture in Tokyo Ghoul. You guys need to watch that if you want to watch this, because it's a gruesome show. And you'll understand how he got the white hair. I am not detailing how he got it. It's against the YouTube algorithm. No, guidelines. Okay. And thank you guys so much for 800 already. 5 or 6 days ago, we were at 700. So, this is nice. And yeah, the snowman video is doing great. And yeah, on to the video.
We did everything right, now I'm on the outside.
Hello everyone. Okay, so one last thing before we start. I've only finished the first season of Tokyo Ghoul. I've just started watching it, so don't yell at me for not knowing something about Kaneki or his Kagune. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch it. You can still watch this, but you won't know a lot. So, I will clear some things up, for a little part 0. Izuku will be a ghoul. A lot of things that happen to Kaneki will happen here, but he won't be in a coffee shop with the best of fams. And yeah. Okay. So, we start off when Deku was 4. His one day, I need to ask my brother something, guys. Be right back. Okay. Now that I have my story. So, when Deku was originally 4, he suddenly, one day, Inka started neglecting him because she knows she was quite low on cash. And she was doing all sorts of ways to get money. Get-rich-quick schemes, lottery tickets, and some very low-paying jobs. So, yeah. Also, Hisashi, instead of, being in America, he died when Izuku was about 2. So, about that, Inka, trying to get all the money she can, because, Hisashi's money will only last so long. She was working 3 jobs and not talking to Izuku much at all. So, one day, she gets a job request on Craigslist. And when she checks it, it says, looking for opportunity for torture. If given opportunity to, we'll give $2,000 an hour. And Inko, seeing this, is like, yes, money! And thinking, I don't want that done on me. As she realizes, I have somebody else. And she thinks about Izuku Izuku. I don't know what he'll be using. I don't want him to be using 2 bad things, but I might get paid more. Okay. I'm sorry, Izuku. As she accepts the deal. And when the man comes through the door, and he's like, so where's the subject? As she said, he's tied in the basement right now. Unconscious in the chair. I got the things you like. So where's the little signing bonus thing? And the man is like, here it is. As he gives her $10,000, and she's like, yes. And I won't go into detail what happens, but it's some gruesome things. So, 4 years later, Inko, who was a multimillionaire now, stops the torture stuff, and the man, a little bit sad, but accepts it. Izuku, who was he had full white hair, and he wasn't exactly the nicest to his mother anymore. That's a massive understatement. When he comes back up from the basement, finally getting out of there, he's like, mother? And Inko's like, oh, hey, Izuku. And Izuku's like, why? Why did you do that? Are you that greedy, mother? I didn't expect something from you. As Inko's like, well, now we have money. We can spend time together. And after all, now you should maybe have your quirk. We can go get to the quirk doctor. And Izuku's like, just stop. And Inko's like, what did I do to you, Izuku? 4 years ago, we were in massive debt and we needed money. And now we don't. And all that happened was you had to suffer. And Izuku's like, suffer, you say? Listen, mother, you don't know the things that man did to me. He did things to my brain, made things crawl around, took things off, all horrible things. I do have a quirk, I know that. I at least have a regeneration. But I learned one thing. You never saw that man leave the basement, did you? As Inko's like, I don't think I did. As Izuku reveals his Kagune. And as it comes out of his back, and he just looks to her like, I'll be taking that money that I earned. As he starts attacking Inko. And Inko initially dodges the first one, but she starts getting attacked from all over from them. And, eventually she dies. Having all the money been cash, because imagine this is a rich person, Izuku now had $1.2 million on hand without anything to do for it. Actually, might as well Google how much that would be. Times 4 times 2,000. 2.92 million. That's how much Izuku has. Okay. So, Izuku now walking around with $3 million in cash. He got in a couple gang fights just walking downtown. But eventually, he was put in an orphanage by someone who was a hero, but not a very good one. So, Izuku immediately broke out of the orphanage, not wanting them to find out his money. But he was getting a lot of food for himself, not being a greedy child because he wasn't the most into candy, because he really hadn't had his ages 4 through 8 at all. But one day he's walking around with his suitcase and his good clothes, and he finds a place called UA High School, and Izuku's like, what? As Izuku, not having an education at all, because 4 through 8. That's what I'll reference. I'll just say 4 through 8 and you guys can know. Anyway, Izuku is like, okay. This place looks like a shelter, maybe? I hope. As he walks in there. And immediately, a hero jumps behind him like, "Who are you, sir?" As Izuku's like, "Oh, I'm Izuku Midori." And right as he says that, the hero tries to attack him, and Izuku dodges and gets out his Kagune like, "What did I do?" As the hero, being Vlad King, is like, "You're probably a villain. Get off of these grounds. If you want to get in, you'll have to get in via the exam. This is not no normal high school kid." So, wait, why are you so little? Izuku's like, "I'm an 8-year-old without family, but I have lots of money, and I'd like to stay here." As Vlad King introduces him to Aizawa, and Aizawa lets him into the class. We'll name him, Ken something. How could I forget the last name? I don't know, guys. I forgot the name. Okay. Anyway. Well, okay, I'm so sorry, guys. I forgot the name. It's Kaneki. How did I forget the name Kaneki? Okay, guys, you can call me out. 0IQ in the comments. Can we get a hashtag 0IQ? And by the way, oh yeah, where was it? Anyway, he's introduced to 1A, and Izuku Midoriya, the green hair one with one for all, is like, "Oh, hello, Ken. How about we introduce you to Eri?" As Eri's like, "Hello." As Izuku's like, "Hello." As Izuku's like, "Did anything happen to you, Ken?" As Izuku then sees the scars all around him and his white hair that doesn't look the most natural with his red eyes. So, a bit frightening. Izuku's like, "Well, let's see how strong you are." As Izuku, expecting this to be just like a little training session, sees Ken immediately get out his Kagune and start attacking Izuku. And one of them eventually does go right through his entire stomach, and Izuku's like, "What the heck?" As he didn't think that Kaneki would ever even like see him with how fast Izuku was, but the Kagune tentacle having gone through him now, Izuku was thrown into a wall quickly, and Kaneki getting ready to finish the job because, you know, that's the personality that he'd developed, being around that man for 4 years. And Izuku immediately uses One for All to go full power as much as he could right now, and he quickly knocked Kaneki out. But when he thought he did, he's like, "So glad that's over," as he's slapped into the wall by Kaneki. And Ken's like, "You really think that's what beats me?" As Izuku's surprised, like, "I don't think I can beat this kid." As he goes into 50% One for All in his whole body, like, "Don't give up on me now, body." As he starts trying to defeat Kaneki for real. But he keeps getting hit into the walls by the tentacles. And Izuku, stopping the fight, is like, "Kaneki, please stop. I surrender. You win." As he falls unconscious from blood loss. You know, just the stomach wound. The massive hole in his stomach. Anyway, Izuku, now going to the nurse's office, obviously, to Recovery Girl. Her being surprised, like, who did this to you, Izuku? As she's healing him. And Izuku's like, this kid who's around 8, I believe, nearly the same age as Aries, but I believe by a couple years. And Izuku is like, well, he defeated me in a one-on-one fight if we all went full power, and that's a bit surprising. As Recovery Girl is like, with one for all, an 8-year-old beat you. As Izuku's like, yeah, he really did. As Kaneki quickly comes through the door like, I'm sorry, Izuku, I think I went a little too hard on you. I maybe should have tried for 30% of my power instead of 50. As Izuku's like, as All Might, hearing this from down the hall, is like, you know, I think I might have chosen the wrong successor. As he quickly walks down the hall. And after Kaneki left, All Might comes in the room like, so Izuku, how strong is that child exactly? As Izuku's like, are you trying to replace me? As All Might's like, I would never, but you know, to be fair, Izuku, he is very strong. But, I'm happy to inform you that, Eri and him are the same age, so, you know, maybe they can, train together and develop their quirks. And it does seem that both young Eri and young Kaneki seem to have both gone through some traumatic events, seeing as Kaneki always goes for a killing blow instead of just a knockout in some friendly neighborhood spar. So, is that fine if they do that? As Izuku's like, I think somebody needs to watch them though, like Eraserhead. And Alma's like, definitely. And the way Eraserhead's quirk works with Kaneki, if you want to know, was he blocks off like the energy needed to use well, obviously the Kagunes. And yeah. So okay. After a couple years of this, when Kaneki was like 13, he'd gotten quite stronger, and during that time, Izuku had became a vigilante, had all of his quirks unlocked, and by that time, he'd become very overpowered, and Kaneki had seen all the events of the UA high school, the war arc, which he thought was quite weird. He did suggest letting him help, but they did not want that. So, after this time skip, Kaneki gets up from his bed and looks at Eri like, hey, Eri. And she's like, what is it, Ken? And Kaneki's like, a lot of things have been happening lately. And she's like, yeah, so? And Kaneki's like, well, you see, what if we go look for Mr. Deku? And she's like, sure. As I was like, you want to do that? Sure, I'll follow you too, though. As they go out exploring for Izuku. But somehow they do end up finding him. And Izuku's like, what are you doing here, you two? As a Shigaraki comes up behind Izuku like, you got distracted during our fight, did you? Wrong move. As he quickly kicks Izuku into the wall and looks to the children like, this'll damage his ego, as he quickly goes to touch one of them. And Izuku quickly jumps back into action and kicks him in the face, launching him up into the air. And they start having a little clash. And Izuku, at this time, had black hair with green eyes. Right now, same hairstyle though. And Izuku started beating down on Shigaraki, and they have a fight, but Kaneki, after the fight ended, he quickly wrapped up Izuku and squeezed him as tight as he could, which did knock out the very injured Izuku. And he threw Shigaraki towards a police station, which he roughly knew the location of, which ended up as Shigaraki landing on a police car in the parking lot of it. And Izuku, being brought back to UA, unconscious after only 4 years, an entire year of being a vigilante, or roughly around that time, 1 or 2. You guys can do the math, I'm not. Izuku, suddenly waking up and seeing Eraserhead and all of his class around him, is like, this is going to be a fun little ride. And Ochako's like, Deku, we missed you, as Hiro's like, by the way, Izuku, the villain was captured, and Kaneki just threw him towards a police station, so you can thank him. And yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to think of a story on the spot, and if someone, like that one person, suggested scripts, like, that would take way too long. Anyway, Izuku, now suddenly faced with the task of facing his crimes, because a vigilante, I would say, is a non-licensed hero that can and sometimes will kill villains instead of always sparing them. And Izuku did change over that time skip, as you'd imagine. And yeah. That's it for this part, at least. If you guys do want a part 2, I'll explain a lot more of the story. We can do that. And yeah. So, this is Itaku signing off. Bye-bye. And thank you for 800 subs.